impossible legacy and stories behind the music that most fans have never fully heard. Michael Jackson did not simply record hit records. He built monuments, each one forged from discipline, sacrifice, and a relentless pursuit of perfection that the music industry had never encountered before and has never quite seen since. But here is what the charts never told you. Behind every one of these songs lived a story, a moment of doubt, a battle with an industry that did not always see his full vision, a personal truth buried inside a 3-minute record that moved the entire world. Tonight, we count down the 8 most played songs of his extraordinary career. And by the time we reach number 1, you will understand not just which song defined his legacy, but what it truly cost him to create it. This is where the real story begins. Before the Moonwalk, before the sold-out stadiums, before the word Thriller meant anything to anyone, there was a small house on Jackson Street in Gary, Indiana, where 9 children shared rooms, shared dreams, and shared a father whose ambitions for them were as large as the industrial city outside their window was hard. Michael Joe Jackson was born on August 29, 1958, the 7th of those 9 children, and from the earliest age, everyone around him understood that something was different, not just talented different, not just promising different, something that made people stop mid-sentence and look twice. Joe Jackson recognized it, Motown Records recognized it, and the moment the Jackson 5 signed with Berry Gordy's legendary label in 1969, an industry machine powerful enough to reshape American popular music turned its full attention toward a boy who had not yet turned 11 years old. What that machine gave Michael was extraordinary exposure, training, and a pathway to global recognition that few artists ever find. What it demanded in return was something no child should ever be asked to pay. Number 8, Ben, 1972. Michael Jackson is 13 years old, and somehow, against every reasonable expectation, he delivers a vocal performance so tender, so emotionally precise, that it stops the entire music industry cold. Ben was written for a horror film about a rat. That is not a metaphor. That is the actual origin of Michael Jackson's first solo number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, and yet what listeners heard had nothing to do with horror. What they heard was a boy singing about loyalty, friendship, and belonging, with the kind of emotional truth that grown men spent entire careers chasing. I don't listen to a word. Here is what most fans never knew. Donny Osmond was originally considered for that song. The decision to give it to Michael instead revealed something the industry was only beginning to understand, that this young black artist possessed a gift that could not be manufactured, coached, or replicated. Ben was not just a hit. It was the first evidence of something the world would spend the next 4 decades trying to fully comprehend. Number 8 showed the world that Michael could stand alone and make you feel every word. But standing alone was only the beginning, because the next entry in our countdown marks the moment Michael Jackson stopped performing within someone else's vision and started building an entirely new one of his own, and the partnership that made it possible almost never happened. Number 7, Rock With You, 1979. 9 years passed between Ben and Rock With You. 7 years of growing up inside a machine, touring, recording, performing, always delivering, rarely resting. By 1979, Michael Jackson was 20 years old, and the industry still largely saw him through the lens of his childhood. Off the Wall was his answer to that. Produced alongside Quincy Jones, a partnership that began when both men worked on the film The Wiz, the album was Michael's first serious declaration of artistic maturity, and Rock With You became its most elegant statement. What made the song extraordinary was what it refused to do. It was not loud. It was not desperate. It did not chase the disco era that was already beginning to fracture around it. It was simply sophisticated, smooth, confident, and completely in control. But here is the detail history often forgets. Despite Off the Wall producing 4 top 10 singles and selling millions worldwide, the Recording Academy nominated it for only 1 Grammy. Michael Jackson remembered that, and that quiet wound became the fuel for something the world was not remotely prepared for. Denia, Grammy slight stung. But Michael Jackson did not respond with bitterness. He responded with a song he wrote himself, a record that announced, with unmistakable joy and total conviction, that he was no longer waiting for anyone's permission to be great. That song is next, and the story behind it reveals just how much was riding on every single note. Number 6, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, 1979. Most people hear Don't Stop Till You Get Enough and think about the feeling it creates, that rush of energy, that sense of pure, uncontainable joy. What most people never stop to consider is who actually wrote it. Michael Jackson did. Every word, every note, every production instinct that made the record feel alive. That distinction matters more than it might seem, because in 1979, Michael was not just proving he could sing someone else's song brilliantly, he was proving he could build a world entirely from his own imagination and then invite the rest of the planet inside it. The song won him his first solo Grammy Award for Best Male R&B Vocal Performance, but the recognition came with a quiet contradiction. The Recording Academy celebrated a single track while largely overlooking the extraordinary album surrounding it. 1 Grammy for Off the Wall, 1 for an album that produced 4 top 10 singles and redefined what sophisticated black pop music could sound like. Michael accepted the award graciously, but people close to him understood what that moment actually meant. It was not satisfaction, it was motivation, the kind that does not fade overnight. If you are enjoying these untold stories behind the songs that shaped music history, subscribe right now so you never miss another countdown. Hit that like button if these records mean something to you, and drop your favorite Michael Jackson memory in the comments below. We read every single one, because what is still coming in this countdown carries stories even bigger than what you have heard so far. Determination to never be overlooked again. That was the foundation Michael Jackson carried into the most important recording sessions of his life. And the first move he made, the very first song released from that project, was one nobody saw coming, a gentle duet that concealed the most ambitious album in pop history behind the most disarming smile in the room. Number 5, The Girl Is Mine, 1982.
Not mine, sending roses and your silly dreams.
When Thriller needed its opening move, Michael Jackson chose a love song. a light, almost effortless duet with Paul McCartney that arrived in October 1982 and felt on the surface like the gentlest possible introduction to what would become the best-selling album in recorded music history.
Girl is mine.
That was entirely the point. The Girl Is Mine was a strategic decision as much as a creative one. Michael understood that the full weight of Thriller would land harder if the world was not bracing for it. So he opened with warmth, with charm, with a song that made listeners lean in rather than step back.
Just a waste of time because she's mine.
Behind the scenes, the reality was far more intense. Quincy Jones has described the Thriller sessions as the most demanding creative experience of his professional life. Engineers worked through the night. Ideas were torn apart and rebuilt. Michael arrived knowing precisely what he wanted and refused to settle for anything less.
She's mine, mine, mine. The girl is mine, mine, mine.
The world heard a pleasant duet. What it could not yet see was the storm being assembled behind it, one that would change popular music permanently and completely. The opening move had been played perfectly. The world was charmed, comfortable, and completely unprepared for what came next. Because the next song in our countdown did not just break records, it broke barriers that an entire industry had spent years defending. And the night it happened on live television, nothing in music was ever quite the same again. Number 4, Billie Jean, 1983. Number 3, Beat It, 1983. Beat It was a deliberate act of boundary destruction. Michael Jackson did not stumble into rock music accidentally. He walked in with a clear intention to make a record that no radio station, no programmer, and no corner of the music industry could categorize, contain, or dismiss. Quincy Jones reached out to Eddie Van Halen directly. Van Halen, at that point one of the most celebrated guitarists in rock music, agreed to contribute a solo without being paid for the session. He arrived, recorded the now legendary guitar break in a matter of hours, and left. What he added to that record became one of the most studied moments in pop production history. A rock guitar solo living comfortably inside a black pop record, making both worlds sound larger for sharing the same space. The Grammy voters noticed. Beat It won Record of the Year and Best Male Rock Vocal Performance, the latter a particularly meaningful recognition, a black artist celebrated for excellence inside a category that had rarely acknowledged one. The music video reinforced every theme the song carried. Gang conflict resolved not through violence but through movement. Choreography as confrontation, dance as dignity. Michael Jackson was not crossing genre lines, he was erasing them, and the music industry has spent 40 years catching up. Three songs remain, and with each one, the stakes grow higher and the stories grow deeper. Because the next entry is not simply a song, it is a short film, a cultural landmark, and the most ambitious visual statement any recording artist had ever attempted. The story of how it came together, how it nearly fell apart, and what it ultimately cost is one of the most remarkable behind-the-scenes stories in music history, and it is next. Number 2, Thriller, 1983. In the fall of 1983, Michael Jackson and director John Landis sat down with a shared belief that a music video could be something the world had never seen before, not a promotional clip, not a performance piece. A genuine short film with a budget, a cast, a crew, and a cinematic ambition that had no real precedent in the music industry. The full Thriller album had been recorded at Westlake Recording Studios in Los Angeles at a production cost of approximately $750,000, already a significant investment. The short film added roughly another $500,000 on top of that. To recover those costs, a documentary about the making of the video was simultaneously produced and sold commercially. Michael Jackson was not just an artist on that project. He was thinking like a producer, a businessman, and a filmmaker all at once. What Landis and choreographer Michael Peters built alongside him was something genuinely new. Horror and humor and dance and drama, all moving together inside 14 minutes that felt nothing like a music video and everything like a cultural event. The zombie choreography alone took days of intensive rehearsal. Michael insisted on precision. Every count, every angle, every moment of controlled chaos had to feel simultaneously spontaneous and exact. When Thriller premiered on MTV in December 1983, the network aired it twice in a single evening due to immediate viewer demand. The music video format was permanently changed that night, and every artist who followed inherited a world that Michael Jackson had fundamentally reshaped. Two entries down, one left to reveal. And here is what makes the #1 song on this countdown so extraordinary. It is not the one most people would predict. It does not have a zombie sequence or a moonwalk or a rock guitar solo. What it has is something rarer than all of those things combined. It has a question, one question that Michael Jackson asked himself, asked his audience, and asked the world at the exact moment when the world was watching him more closely than any artist had ever been watched before. Number 1, Man in the Mirror.
As I turned up the collarbone in bottle top and a one-man soul.
Released in 1988 during the Bad era, the song was not written by Michael Jackson. It was written by Siedah Garrett and Glenn Ballard, two songwriters who were not yet household names when Michael heard their demo and immediately understood what it was. He did not need to change it. He did not need to own it. He simply needed to sing it, because the truth inside those lyrics belonged to everyone, and he knew exactly how to make the world feel that. The recording session brought in a full gospel choir, and the result was a record that felt simultaneously personal and universal, quiet in its opening, overwhelming in its conclusion, a song that builds the way genuine conviction builds, slowly, then completely. By 1988, Michael Jackson was the most famous person on earth, and fame at that scale is its own kind of isolation. The public scrutiny was relentless, the expectations were inhuman, and yet here was this song, asking not for sympathy, not for celebration, but for accountability. For change that begins with the person in the reflection, rather than the world outside the window. He performed it at the 1988 Grammy Awards, and the audience response confirmed what the charts already showed. This was not just a hit. It was a moment of shared humanity that crossed every boundary his previous records had broken.
Change for once in my life.
Decades later, Man in the Mirror remains among his most streamed, most covered, and most emotionally requested songs, not because it is his most spectacular, but because it is his most honest. And honesty, it turns out, never stops being relevant. Michael Jackson's 8 most played songs tell a single continuous story of a black artist who began as a boy carrying impossible expectations and who spent his entire career transforming that weight into music that the world could not put down. From the tender loyalty of Ben to the moral clarity of Man in the Mirror, every song on this countdown represents a chapter in one of the most remarkable artistic journeys in the history of recorded music.
It's gonna feel real good.
The legacy is not just the records. It is what the records made possible for every black artist who followed. If this countdown brought back memories, taught you something you did not know, or gave you a deeper appreciation for one of the greatest artists who ever lived, subscribe right now so you never miss another documentary on this channel. Every countdown we release goes this deep into the stories, the history, and the human moments behind the music you love. Drop a comment and tell us which song on this list means the most to you personally. And if you think a song deserved a higher ranking, we want to hear that too. This channel exists because of fans who love this music the way it deserves to be loved. Stay with us, because what is still coming on this channel celebrates legends whose full stories have never been told like this before.